Alright guys, look, we're back where it all started. I want to start by saying thank you to everyone who watched my videos this year. I really needed it. Basically, this video is my what's left to shout out after my albums list, so stay to the end to find out my top EPs of the year. Now I've decided I can only include songs from albums that didn't make my albums of the year list. Pretty simple, right? I've also decided on 25. It's the theme really, isn't it? I admit it's a bit unfair to the songs from the first half of the year, as I didn't do a video for them in the summer, and thus they've struggled to make it to the end of the year. Oh well. You can find all the reviews and mentions, etc. of these tracks and EPs in my other videos. So I won't be saying too much, as I've already covered them, and after all, this is meant to just be a list. First up, we've got some honourable mentions. PinkPantheress with her track Tonight. Hands down the pop princess of the summer. After that, we've got The Glue with their track Driver's Seat. A small find that I had on repeat most of the summer. After that, we got Afternoon Bike Ride and their track Abigail. The drums and the piano just kept my playlist balanced. After that, we've got Ninajirachi and her track Info Hazard. Took me back to the 2 a.m. days of MTV Dance in the Millennium. After that, we've got Avalon Emerson and her track Eden. A very recent addition, but worthy of another mention. And then we've got Drain with Scared of Everything and Nothing. Had me stomping around wishing I was wearing a Ride the Lightning t-shirt. After that, we've got Runo Plum and her track Halfway Up the Lawn. It's a gentle and sweet song I wish I had more time with. After that, we've got Japanese Breakfast with her track Orlando in Love. This is a classic example of a top 5 song from the first half of the year, making it to the second half. Well done. Following that, we've got Footballhead with their track Face to Face. A new band playing a few genres. I like their angry side best. And then we've got Hand Me Down with their track Give Up. I'm just a sucker for this kind of vocal, frankly. FKA Twigs and her track Girl Feels Good. This song was one of 3 moments that curated me into having a very trip-hop year. Last but definitely not least, Yumi Zouma and her track Bashville on the Sugar. This was in the main list, but just got squeezed out at the end. I'm sorry, but I do absolutely love the track. You just have to kill some darlings in this list-making business. Hope you can understand. So that's all the shout-outs taken care of. Here are the songs that soundtracked my year in 2025. Starting with the bottom 5, the goalie and the fullbacks for this knockout tournament. We've got Hindsight by Poser, track number 25. The most recent addition to this list because it's instantly made such a big impression on me. I love its wailing, bending guitars. They're ingrained in my mind. I like the singing against the picking. I like its raw production. And I love supporting new bands, especially given the state of the music industry these days. So why not stick on this young Irish melodic hardcore band to get the ball rolling for my bangers of 2025. Track 24, we got Charlie XCX with House. It doesn't feel right to have a song from a soundtrack on here, but the reality is I'm listening to it all the time. Now that it's winter, I absolutely love it. It's the yang to ROSALÍA's orchestral yin in 2025, and it's absolute perfection for this dark time of year. Track 23 is I'm Around by Sights and Sounds. Again, another recent one that squeezed out some older tracks to finish the list. I love this band so much, and I'm so glad they've decided to record again after 5 silent pandemic years, and I really hope they tour before they go quiet again, as I never got to see them live before, and If you've heard the Canadian hardcore band Comeback Kid, this is their vocalists on the band. It's very, very good. It's painfully underrated and underheard. And now we've got track 22, Get by Kate Teague. This soundtracked all my days at the beach this summer, and it's hazy, fuzzy, airy reverb drums way. It's a track I spent a lot of time with as it dropped in January. It was on between all the big hits of my list, and the vocals and synths are just hot sun vibes and wind in your hair. And then at track 21 we've got Mother of the Mountain by Millie Turner. I'd never heard of Millie before, randomly stumbled upon this, but it's another song that soundtracked my time at the beach with a perfect driving, upbeat, breakbeat type drum beat, and her vocals are just sublime hovering over it. She is the Mother of the Mountain. Oh, things are heating up. Now it's time for the centre defence and midfield 15. Don't know why I'm doing World Cup soccer formations, but here goes. Starting with track 20, Faster by Mercury. I was kind of gutted we didn't get an album after this came out. We did just get a second track recently though, so hopefully next year. But completely in love with this grungy indie rock track, and produced by the king Alex Farrar, a track that just builds and builds to a euphoric climax. Track 19 is by R.I.P. Swirl and Ydegirl called Emo Regulation. The vocal effects in the middle of this track made me want to fall down the rabbit hole with Alice. It was really trippy and really eerie by this German-Danish duo. It's one of the most unique tracks released this year, and I hope they keep going down this psychedelic path. Track 18 is by Josh Fudge and it's called Home. It's one of the many tunes still using these semi-breakbeat beats that all these artists are using this decade that I'm loving, and I was going to review this album but chose not to, as to not flood the feed of my wonderful viewers. So luckily that means I get to shout it out here. This thing is full of summery synths and catchy vocals. Check it out. Track 17 is All I Got by Maro. I live in a hot Greek palm tree country, and when you're cruising with the sunroof open and the windows down, this track just bounces off your sunglasses, absolutely gleaming. Hot summer nights with loose button shirts and aftershave, you get the vibe. This Lebanese-Ukrainian singer was a nice little discovery. Track 16 is UFO by UFOs. Now, I don't listen to Phoenix often. I've enjoyed their music over the years, but when you hear Thomas Mars's damn voice, it's just undeniable. Like Bon Iver or Chino Moreno, some voices are just timeless. So I was happy to be reunited with him a few months ago, and I also love the tone of the synths throughout this. We're not alone, I guess. Track 15 is by Horse Jumper of Love, and it's called The Idiot. Speaking of aliens, the lyrics, that one's Venus and that one's Mars, has been stuck in my head after each listen. It really is like nothing else on my playlist tones-wise. It's a real mood and palette cleanser of 2025. Dark and moody acoustic stuff. Up next we got track 14, Stay by Sea Lemon. Same with Horse Jumper, this chorus would ring in my head for hours after I heard it, for totally opposite reasons though. It's super bright and dreamy indie pop. Dropping in March, it really did stay for a while. And then we've got track 13, Second Sleep by Magdalena Bay. Another banger from Mag Bay, a year after they released their biggest album yet. There really is no stopping them. Now they're a full band again after their electronic duo beginnings that we know and love them for. Fingers crossed they make their Dark Side of the Moon classic next, and this song sure hints at the fact that they will. Up next we've got track 12, Do It by Underscores. This Millennium NSYNC Timberlake coded Zouma banger is so damn catchy and infectious. It's only been out a month and it's already scratching at the top 10. If I was younger, it might have been higher on the list. It's that well produced. And then track 11, Molly Parden's Another Friend. This track isn't showing off like the rest of them. It's just solid and consistent and charming and chill. It's just there to be found and adored, and it just kept me company for the whole of 2025 and soundtracked all those moments between all my big hitters of the year. And speaking of which, it's time for the infamous top 10, every list maker's most important part. Ooh, the suspense. My track 10 for Song of the Year is Denial by Isolate. I love this fucking track. I feel like I'm at a band practice with them. Part of me wishes every release by a heavy band sounded this primal and raw. No other elements or overdubs or fluff. Just a band borderline playing live and honest. In a world where every release sounds like it has 20 things going on with guitar and atmosphere, this really cuts through all the noise like a samurai's blade and bring me out of mosh retirement, lads. That's why it's my number 10 of the year. My number 9 for Song of the Year is ROSALÍA's Reliquia. I wish every song on this album infused electronic parts like this does. Amazing song, amazing vocals, definitely one of the albums of the year. If you liked Björk and her operatic stuff over the years, but wish she came from Spain, this is the one for you. This song sends me into outer space. My number 8 for Song of the Year is Godlike by Twen. The sparkly, plucky guitars just managed to come out when my summer playlist was on live support, as I'd been overplaying all of my favourites then, and this came in just at the right time and took over, and everyone else had a breather and a respite to close out that summer-autumn transition. And as I wave goodbye to the sun as it heads down to the sky to Australia, it's my favourite time of year weather-wise, so that's why I'm very fond of this track. My track 7 for Song of the Year is Flatheadstanley's Ferris Wheeler's Day Off. It's another one of those in-between all the show-off hits tracks, and you get songs like this and Molly Parden that just clock in, do their time and fill in those playlist gaps, and this just kept coming on shuffle, and due to it being released in the middle of January, it just attached itself to lots of memories, and so that's why it's in my top 10 of the year. I spent so much time with it and never got bored of it. It's just pure, easy listening. And lastly, for the midfield football section of the tournament, we have my number 6 for Song of the Year, and that's The Kicks by Gianna or Gianna. Still don't know. It's that annual song you find that you can't believe it just isn't everywhere. It's so pop, it just oozes sunshine. It's a very promising artist, and it's a very super catchy tune that sounds like nothing else this year really, and other than PinkPantheress maybe. So here we are. Now it's time for the wingers and then the striker of my tournament songs of 2025. My number 5 for Song of the Year is The Dark Cloud by Grip Down. A lot of really solid, heavy bands have been coming out from down under this year, and this was the winner for me. Every time this came on in the car, I was moshing hard. I'm absolutely obsessed with the chord change in the background. A real palate cleanser amongst a year of indie rock, and an easy top 5 of the year for me. My number 4 for Song of the Year is The Field by Blood Orange and a few others. I think it's safe to say that this will or should be on every list this year. It's one of those undeniable tracks. You can't hear this and say it's bad. You'd be factually incorrect. Stunning vocals, just breathtaking atmosphere and production. It Literally sounds like a summer breeze. My number 3 for Song of the Year is Into Me by Ayleen Valentine. I think Ayleen is a very promising, new, young, talented artist, and I loved her album last year and was surprised not many others caught wind of it. On it she explores multiple genres, and I was pleased she didn't waste much time and released a new single with a new vibe, of Cocteau Twins kind of style compared to her last album, and it really suits her voice. Hopefully we get more new music next year. My number 2 for Song of the Year is More Than Hate by Bilmuri. Since the pandemic, this scene legend has gone from strength to strength with each release, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The internet's favourite metalcore cowboy is back with the riff of the year for me. I love this riff so much. It sounds so chunky. The singing is a borderline pop song with how catchy and well written it is, and that's why this American is second in my list. So who is the striker of this team? Who's the star of the tournament? It's Loathe with their track Gifted Every Strength. If for some reason you still haven't checked out this British band from Liverpool, this is as good a place to start as any. One of those 10 pandemic bands that absolutely blew up and took over the world, like your Knocked Looses, your Spirit Boxes and your Turnstiles. I really foolishly thought we were going to get this album this year, and it's one of the 50 reasons I started the channel, and then on top of that they dropped this song on a Friday, so I couldn't do a video for it. It was a right shambles. But holy hell, what a fucking monster of a track this is. From its soft, gentle wooing and strumming, and its speaker testing, crushing heavy fizz, and its jazzy, proggy guitar solo outro. Nothing else came close to this, so let them cook if every song's going to be this good, and that's why it is my Song of the Year. Fingers crossed for the album soon, lads. I'm so ready. And now, as promised, here are my top 5 EPs of the year. Thanks for watching this far. This is the referee team of the tournament, if you will. Starting with the VAR operator, aptly titled Touchdown Jesus with their EP, It's All Feast or Famine at number 5. Honestly, not my usual thing, but it's just so well done. It kind of brings me back to my teenage years of loving Primus, but packed full of energy, and a really solid EP from this brand new American band. And then we've got the 4th official looking after all the substitutions, Scarlet Rae with her EP No Heavy Goodbyes at number 4. Scarlet released one of my favourite songs in the pandemic and recently went through a very tough time and managed to make these songs about it. And I think Scarlet is a very underrated songwriter from America that people should check out. Then we've got the first of the 2 linesmen, MSPAINT with their EP No Separation at number 3. One of my favourite bands of the last few years. Loved their album and saw them live last year. Dropped a few songs for us to tie us over until the next album. More of that bouncy half-time synth puck from this American band. Also Wishy with their EP Planet Popstar at number 2. A bit like MSPAINT, they released new music so soon after their album, so we don't forget about them. I love Wishy and their brand of full-on American millennium-tinged indie rock. So, the referee, my number 1 EP of the year goes to Soulkeeper with Join Us in Creating Excellence. This is my EP of the year, and if you want some crushing metalcore from an American band with lots of other interesting bits and bobs, look no further than this EP by Soulkeeper. It's so darn heavy. I'm curious where it might have popped on my album list if it wasn't an EP. So that's it. All that's left now is my big albums of the year video. Time to phone Grandma and tell her to get the girls ready, because we got to make it push the algorithm a little so we can end the year on a high.